Wam, call Haloyim, La Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who have taught us this knowledge. Honors and salutations to you, sincere Akim out there doing the work with truth and sincerity. Shalom to you and shalom to the Akwaf that believe as well. I'm responding to a video, nigga logic, pretty much. I'm gonna play the clip, fair use, by the way. I'm gonna let you hear what he said. I'm gonna respond to it. Jake in there, nigga logic. All right, that's what I call it, nigga logic. Okay, so let's hear it. Fair use, by the way, again.
Place, Corey, wrong.
I know it's the wrong place. That's why I said it on purpose. Churro is out there with your people, right?
Yes.
It's a lot of dark Mexicans, D. Did you know that?
D dark. Thank you. And my dad and my grandpa, yeah, they're very dark. My grandmother was fair, but yeah.
People don't know that, though.
Because the Africans made it with the Spaniards. Well, the Spaniards did what they did to the Africans, and that made the Olmecs.
Understand?
Yeah, that's nigga logic right there, Oh, man. Israelites, man. Israelites really are Salish children. All right, Salish means stupid children. Yeah, I mean, it just is what it is. St. Luke 16:8, and the Lord commended and the Lord commended the unjust steward because he had done wisely. For the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. Excuse me. And that's Israelites to a T, man. The children of this world we currently in is children of the wicked. And the children of light, of course, it says Israelites, but all Israelites ain't gonna hearken unto the light, which the light represents knowledge, okay, of the scriptures, because they don't believe that this book, it's called the Bible. All right, they don't believe that this is the Lord's book. They don't believe this is the book of truth. They subscribe to everything else but the Bible, okay? Which, I mean, the thought of so-called blacks being killed, okay, so-called Negroes being killed for attempting to read the Bible in hardcore slavery, that should draw interest, okay? Why was they being killed for reading the Bible? If they got caught reading, they was lynched for reading, but if they got caught reading the Bible, they was put to death. And you hear about the stories like Nat Turner. But anyways, let's get into it, okay? The Olmecs, okay? He mentions the Olmecs. We're going to go to 1 Kings 10. And before we do that, we're going to go to the Olmecs. All right, let's put the Olmecs. Okay, Olmecs, let's get images. This is what he's referring to, okay? And Lord willing, this video is edifying, but let's jump right into it. All right, so the Olmecs. Here you have this picture of Olmec statue, which is down in what you know as Mexico today, okay? Which the land was inhabited by these so-called Mexicans, or so-called Aztecs, which is really the tribe of Issachar, one of the 12 tribes of the nation of Israel, okay? And the reason why it's there, first of all, is because within our law, the Lord told us not to remove, your neighbor's landmark, okay? So let's get that. This is Deuteronomy 19:14. See, it said laws of landmark. Thou shalt not remove thy neighbor's landmark. See, which they of old time have set in thine inheritance, which thou shalt inherit in the land that the Lord thy God giveth thee to possess it. And that's why our land is known as what? The land of Canaan, okay? The land that the Lord had promised our forefather Abram, which name changed to Abraham, okay? That he would give us that land. Okay. See? Let's see here. Bear me 1 second. Genesis chapter 17. And this is during the time of, again, Abraham. Matter of fact, let's read up a little bit so we know who we're talking about. Genesis 17:5. Neither shall thy name anymore be called Abram, but thy name shall be Abraham, which, the word Abram goes back to Abba Ram. All right, Abba means father, and Ram means exalted. And then you have Abraham or Abraham, all right, exalted father of many, or some say father of a multitude, right? It says, "For a father of many nations have I made thee, and I will make thee exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of thee, and kings shall come out of thee. And I will establish my covenant between me and thee and thy seed after thee and their generations for an everlasting covenant, to be a God unto thee and to thy seed after thee. And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee," which, we know it went from Abraham, Isaac, and then from Isaac, which was born of Isaac, was Jacob and Esau. And we know that Jacob, all right, inherited. All right, he inherited that. He got the blessing and the birthright. Okay, it says, "And I will give unto thee and to thy seed after thee the land wherein thou art a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God." Okay, so our forefathers, when they was brought out of the, from under the hand of the Egyptians, okay, the Lord, all right, led us to where? Eventually, they would go into, the land of Canaan, which is known as the land of Israel today. Okay, after the generations that perished in the wilderness, and then of course Moses died, and it was Joshua, okay, that led the charge for us claiming our lands, and the Lord told us to go in there and kill the Canaanites. Okay, so that's who occupied the land, which is Israel today. Back in those times, okay, and them same people, okay, those same people were navigators of the sea, okay, which I'm gonna get in a second, okay, because it mentions Hiram, okay, and if you know anything about Hiram, okay, well, I'm gonna look it up and show you, okay, simple and plain. 1 Kings 10, starting at verse 9. Actually, it started verse 10. Let's go right to the point. Verse 11. It's talking about King Solomon. Okay, this is during the reign of King Solomon, which King Solomon reigned over all Israel. And by the way, when you know King Solomon, all right, he had a navy. Okay, which I'm going to get into. All right, and by the way, in case if you don't know how King Solomon looked, because you got people that think that this is a white man's book. Okay, which they haven't read this book. They don't know what's in this book, because why? They rebellious. I'm talking about you so-called Negroes, Latino, Native Americans. All right. If you think this is a so-called white man's book, you out of your mind. Okay. Song of Solomon, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. All right. Now Solomon as the tents of Kedar, which Kedar was one of the sons of Ishmael. See, and Kedar itself means dark. Okay, the Hebrew word there is Quadar, and it says dark. All right, when you go to the Hebrew lexicon, see it says black skin. Okay, black skin, a black skinned man. And he's one of the sons of Ishmael, which is who? The progenitor of the so-called Arab. All right, the ones that come from Ishmael. Because one thing in this video, he mentions that people around the Middle East, all right, what you know as the Middle East, is mainly dark people. Okay. Matter of fact, let me see what it said. I don't want to get no copyright strike, even though my videos are not monetized. But let me see, can I play a few more seconds? Again, fair use.
And we got to understand what you're saying. What did the Spaniards do to the Africans?
The Spaniards, the Dutch, the
I thought he might say it. I don't want to get no copyright strike, so Shalakia, you can watch the video on your own time, okay? This is for edification, okay? But let's go back to 1 Kings 10, okay? 1 Kings 10, I'm at verse 11. And the navy also of Hiram that brought gold from Ophir, brought in from Ophir great plenty of almug trees and precious stones, okay? And pretty much this navy, when you look up Hiram, all right, let's see what Hiram go back to. See, Hiram. It says the king of Tyre, who sent workmen and materials to Jerusalem to build both the palace for David and the temple for Solomon. Okay, so it refers to the people of Tyre. You see, it says the name of two Tyrians. Okay, which was what the people of Tyre, which was the Canaanites. Okay, now I brought up some little history about the people of Tyre. The Tyrians, originally a Canaanite people. See? So where did Canaan come from? It came from Ham. It says Ham, the youngest son of Noah, born probably about 96 years before the flood, and one of 8 persons to live through the flood. He became the progenitor, which is also a father of the dark races, not the blacks, what's another word for black? Negro. Okay. But the Egyptians, the Ethiopians, which first of all, the original Egyptians was a very super dark people. All right, mainly, namely of the people of Sudan. Okay, really tall, really dark. Manute Bull, so you understand. All right, Ethiopians, which the Ethiopians are, right? See here, Ethiopians. Just look them up. Images. You know what the Ethiopians look like, right? They're dark complexion people. See, their complexion is similar to the Negro. See? It says Libyans and Canaanites. Okay? These are people that are called African today. The Negro, which the word Negro in Moor, which means dark or black, okay, which it tells you that when you look up the word Moreno or Moor, it means black. See, Negro. Negro says it's a synonym for Negro. And we know that the real word was Moreno or Moreno. Let's get that. Which is what? A Jew or Moor in Spain. Okay. The Jews' language was what? The Hebrew. The ancient Paleo Hebrew. Okay. Why I say a Jew or Moor? Because why? They know that according to the Bible, okay, that the people, which that goes back to the word Judah, which we know there's no J in the Hebrew. All right. Even the Latin, original Latin, there was no J in it, but it's referring to the people, all right, that was at Jerusalem, all right, that looked like unto the ground. See, it says Judah mourneth in the case of language, they are black unto the ground. The ground is different shades of brown. And the cry of Jerusalem is going up. So again, in this video, he mentions that most people that's in the so-called Middle East, okay, are dark-skinned people. All right. He said they was dark as us. You can watch this video on your own time. It's on the Corey Holcomb channel. It says Talk to Me Straight Up. That's the title of the video. It was roughly 5-6 days ago. You can listen to it. I'm at the 8 minutes and 55 seconds marker. Play a little further than that, you'll hear him mention that. Okay. So let's go back to my point I want to make in 1 Kings 10. Okay. So we know that Hiram go back to the Tyrians, or people of Tyre, which were originally the Canaanites. All right, which are a son of Ham. Okay, people of Ham. All right, before they was known as Africans, which the Greeks, which are the Edomites, so-called white people, name them Africans after Leo Scipio Africanus. Okay, that's history. All right, but that's their original nationality. They're the sons of Ham, or the nations of Ham. Okay, same thing. 1 Kings 10 and 22. For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came a navy of Tarshish, bringing gold and silver, ivory and apes and peacocks. See? And when you factor in on that, we know that peacocks wasn't the actual animal they was bringing over there. When you go into my Bibles, into the Latin, which, the Wadi Habashimashah for the Apostle Aramla, I learned this from him. So, the water for that the apostle. But when you look up the word pavos, it's referring to turkeys. Okay. And when you go to the word pavo, web search it, right? You see turkeys. Okay. That's what you see. Look at this. It says pavos, right? Pavos in Spanish means turkeys. See, it's a Spanish word. Spanish go back to the Latin. Okay. And when you look up turkeys, right? All right, turkeys. All right, let me see. Turkeys are native to America. Okay. Domestic turkeys come from wild turkey, Mila agris, Gallo pavo, a species that is native only to the Americas. Okay. In the 1500s, Spanish traders brought some that had been domesticated by indigenous Americans to Europe and Asia. And this is what, the ships of Tarshish and Hiram, this is what they brought back to King Solomon during his reign, which he had a 40-year reign, roughly 970 BC to 930 BC. Okay. 40-year reign of King Solomon. And this is the same land, all right, the Americas, the same land where us northern tribes, okay, which people you call Hispanic, okay, and Native American or indigenous to Americans, it's the same land we came to when we left the Assyrian captivity. Okay, because once in the 3 years, all right, they were bringing back things for King Solomon, right? Because it took a year and a half from the so-called Middle East or the Fertile Crescent area, the Levant. That's the word I'm looking for. Excuse me, the area of the Levant to go over to the Americas take a year and a half by ship, because you got to know how to ride those currents in the waters. Okay. This is why when they came over here, all right, they had the Hebrew interpreters. Okay, let's get that too, by the way. I believe I got that pulled up too. The Hebrew interpreters, man. Jake just clings so hard to the, to this African, which is again the original people of Ham. Right? They cling to it so hard, okay? And that's what Esau put into Jake's mind, this African thing, okay? They think Africa is the motherland, and it's not. And if you tell them that, they get all mad and bugged out at you, call you crazy, but they don't know the truth, okay? The Moors are Jewish and Muslim. See, they was, because the Jews are who? The Southern Kingdom tribes, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. When they went to the west coast of Africa, it was named what? Port Judah, Port Benjamin, Port Levi. When you look up your history, was not Cameroon capital named Yahweh? That's how you say Judah in Hebrew, in ancient Paleo Hebrew. Okay, and my man, this one Jake, played for Philadelphia 76ers, Joel Embiid. He's from there, Cameroon. The Moors are Jews and Muslims who lived in Morocco and Spain. And I showed you what Moor means, dark or black, and accepted the Christians among them. And remember, I brought up Jeremiah 14:2. Judah mourned in the gates thereof, language, they are black unto the ground. All right. It says the Moors are Jews and Muslims who lived in Morocco and Spain and accepted the Christians among them without any discrimination. They have established a heaven of knowledge that Europe could not equal at the time and made European minds to come out of the Dark Age, which they ruled all the Dark Ages right during that time, But here's some of the Moors right here. Bartholomew de Torres. He was along the Santa Maria ship. And this was the lead interpreter right here, Luis de Torres, interpreter. So this individual, now remember the Jews' language is what? The Hebrew. So this individual has the ability to translate Arabic, Moorish language, which is Hebrew, and Castilian Spanish. Okay. There you go, man. It goes on to name other ones. Okay. Juan Martinez. All right. Juan Medina, Diego de Silo, if I'm pronouncing it right. They were servants of Columbus. Cristobal Colon is his real name. Okay. It says for a complete list of Moorish names, including Salcedo that have been transliterated in Spanish, and for a list of Moorish knights who served as personal guards of the kings of Castile, read the index of the following book, and it gives you different books. Okay. So I mean, that's all just knowing your history, man. Okay. Knowing, that this landmark was there for a reason. Okay. When we came over here, all right, 2nd Esdras 10 and 13, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king, whom Salmanassar the king of Assyria led away captive, and they carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land, right, which another land would be what? The Americas, because why? Remember that, the navy of Solomon took 3 years to come back with things for King Solomon. Again, a year and a half that way, and a year and a half back, okay? Verse 41, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt, which would be what? The Americas. That's why it was called the unknown world. All right? Which, they knew those people living over here. And the people who they encountered was who? The people you would call Native American today, or the indigenous to the Americas, the Taínos, the Arawaks, so-called Aztecs, the so-called Mayans, so on and so forth. Okay, the Seminole Indians, the North American Indians. Label us Peruvians and different things. Okay, Cuban, what have you. Same people settled into that land, okay? And it tells you right here, because remember it said we went to a further land where never mankind dwelt at. Right here in verse 45, for through that country there was a great way to go, namely of a year and a half. In the same region is called Asareth, which means in the Hebrew, Akaratazah, which means another land. And it took you a year and a half to come over here. That's how long it took King Solomon's navy. A year and a half this way from the Levant, and a year and a half back. So where did the northern tribes go? To the Americas, man. Did not they have people over here when the Spanish came over here, when the French came over here, when the English came over here, which were Edomites? And they had the Moors, which were Israelites, Southern Kingdom Israelites on the ships to translate for them. Okay? They knew they was going to encounter Hebrews. Now, did the Hamites speak Hebrew in ancient times? Yes, of course. But the people that was living here, all right, which you find the Ten Commandments on stones in different stones, different regions of the Americas. Because why? The Israelites had they had received the commandments from their new Father. Okay, through our forefathers, our ancestors. Okay, so the Olmecs has nothing to do with the tribe of Issachar, which are the so-called Mexicans. They just the ones that was coming over here first and gathering things, resources, and precious things for King Solomon. Okay, that's what that's about. Has nothing to do with maiden. No, the northern tribes weren't even over here. All right, during the King Solomon's reign. Okay, let me see here. Tell you that he reigned over all Israel, man. Hold on. Yeah, I thought. Just like, bear with me 1 second. Okay, let me get this real quick. Am I pronouncing it wrong? Spelling it wrong? Oh, I'm in the wrong. That's Slocky. I'm in the wrong Bible. Go to KJV. Oh man, Slocky. I still was on Latin. All right, let's get it. Okay, Slocky. I was on the Latin translation. I have brain fire now and then, you know. Here we go, right here. 1 Kings 4, verse 1. So King Solomon was king over all Israel. See? Over all Israel, all the 12 tribes. Okay. This is the reign of King Solomon. All right, the nation of Israel, all right, the Israelites didn't split up, okay, to after he died, okay? You can read about that. Matter of fact, let me see here. First Kings 11. Let's see. Bear me 1 second. Find this. All right. 1 Kings 11 and 42. And the time that Solomon reigned in Jerusalem over all Israel was 40 years. And Solomon slept with his fathers and was buried in the city of David his father. And Rehoboam his son reigned in his stead. See? And when you go over into the 12th chapter, all right, it tells you that because it goes into the the infighting, where it started to begin of the tension between the tribes, and then the nation was split. See, it says the kingdom divided. Okay, the kingdom divided. So the northern tribes hadn't even left. Okay, we were still here after King Solomon died. All right, and you had Rehoboam, which it mentioned Rehoboam in the previous chapter. He reigned in his stead, and then you had Jeroboam. All right, that would go on to lead the northern tribes. Okay, let me see. Let's go to the prophet Ahijah. Okay, these in the same chapter right here. I might have passed the Shlaki. Let me see. The prophet Ahijah. Okay, yeah, I was in the right chapter. I went too far. 1 Kings 11 and verse 29. And it came to pass at that time when Jeroboam went out of Jerusalem that the prophet Ahijah the Shilonite found him in the way, and he had clad himself with a new garment, and they two were alone in the field. And Ahijah caught the new garment that was on him and rent it in 12 pieces. And he said to Jeroboam, take thee 10 pieces, for thus said the Lord, the God of Israel, behold, I will rend the kingdom out of the hand of Solomon, and will give 10 tribes to thee. Okay, and this actually happened, which you go into the next chapter. It happened after King Solomon died, which is it'll tell you that he died in this chapter, and then the next chapter it goes into the split. Okay, so when King Solomon reigned, all right, all the nation of Israel was together. Okay, the land that never mankind dwelt was inhabited by Israelites then. Okay, it was only visited by the Hamites to gather, again, resources and precious things for King Solomon. Okay, that's how you get the Olmec statues, man. Okay, and so with that, I'm gonna leave it right there. The point is proven. I mean, I could have went on longer, but I think the point is made. The Olmecs have nothing to do with the so-called Mexicans or so-called Aztecs. Okay, totally don't even have anything to do with them. As a matter of fact, before I even leave, let's see here. Let's go to Google real quick. We'll go to Google. Let's see here. See the Aztecs. See Aztec clothing. See it. Ancient Aztec clothing. Okay, let's see what we get here. Because a lot of them wear fringes and everything. Look at this. Look at this. Look, they got fringes. All right, fringes at the borders of their garments, man. All right, fringes. You see the fringes. Let's see if I can find a better picture. Okay, they wear fringes. And that's a custom of Israel, man. Okay, look at this. See, I get some good. I'm gonna get some good close-ups. Slovakia. See, he got on fringes around his waist, fringes around his, his sleeves, his boots. Okay, and fringes is a custom of Israelites. Okay, he got fringes around his upper. He had fringes on his upper. This you would say like a girdle in ancient times, but they wear fringes, man. Look at them fringes, fringes. Look at that, fringes. See those fringes? Those fringes go back to the law or statutes, okay, that the Lord told us to keep. This is Numbers 15 and 37. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And even though those things you call ponchos, all right, that they call ponchos, I might be pronouncing it wrong, but let me see. I just showed you they got fringes on. Uh, uh, Look at this. The ponchos. The ponchos have fringes on them. Okay? Look at this, man. The ponchos have fringes on them. It's not no custom of no so-called African, man. I'm reading it right now. Numbers 15 and 37. And the Lord spake unto Moses, which is the Israelite himself, speak unto the children of Israel, and bid them that they make them fringes in the borders of their garments throughout their generations, and that they put upon the fringe of the borders a ribbon of blue. And it shall be unto you for a fringe, that ye may look upon it and remember all the commandments of the Lord and do them, and that ye seek not after your own heart or in your own eyes, after which ye used to go a whoring. Okay, that ye may remember and do all my commandments and be holy unto your God. Okay, that's the reason why the fringes are so important. This is why you see Native Americans, we wear fringes. Even to this day, we wear fringes. It's the Aztec dancers come up to the gatherings, they wear fringes. All the so-called Native Americans, whether they be Tainos or what have you, the ones that participate in the gatherings, they wear fringes, man. That's the Israelite custom. You don't see actual Africans with fringes on, but the Negroes is over in Africa on the West Coast mainly, and wherever they scattered throughout, where they at in that land, that continent, whatever. The ones that partake in, ancient customs, they wear fringes. Let me see. Can I get let me see, Ashanti. Let me see. Ashanti people. Okay, so the Ashanti people. If I can pull this up real quick. You can't hardly see it. Let me see. Can I find a good one? Because they wear fringes. On this one, you can almost. I thought it was that one, Slovakia. You can see the fringes. See it. Because they wear fringes. I know that for a fact. Okay, yeah, it was, see, it's something like that, but you know, I thought they may have some recent pictures. All right, but you can do your research. You can look it up. You'll see some of them. I don't want to make this video too long. It's already 40 minutes into the video. But yeah, you know, they wear actual fringes. All right. So you know, it's something you can look up. You know, you can look it up on your own. I thought I could find it, but you know, like I said, I'll be all day looking for it, trying to dig for it. So Shalakia. So with that, the point is proven. All right. They have nothing to do with us. All right. So with that, shalom to next video.